Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Offside with Dan Lombard. Before we get stuck into the topic of episode 3, I'd like to congratulate the Springboks on their hard-fought 24-25 loss against the All Blacks in their last round of matches in the Rugby Championship of this year. Despite it being a loss and a loss can never be celebrated, it was the perfect response to the 57-0 whitewash at the hands of the All Blacks earlier in the Rugby Championship of 2017. Now, this is the perfect game to use as an example for the topic of episode 3, which ties into episode 1's topic of transformation is necessary for now. And I would like to delve deeper into something that we spoke about in episode 1, and that is access to watching rugby on TV. I'd like to go a bit deeper because I have an urgent plea. SA Rugby and company needs to stop being stingy. Let me explain myself. The dream of playing for the Springboks is not born with a player. They're not born with that dream. They see it on television. They see it now on social media. They talk about it at school, on the rugby field, or wherever else. But previously disadvantaged rugby players don't have access to watching the Springboks or any form of professional rugby, because free-to-air television does not show rugby. And when I say free-to-air, I'm talking about our national broadcaster, the South African Broadcasting Company, commonly known as SABC. So, what problems do these present? Firstly, they don't get to watch their heroes week in and week out. They don't get to learn from their heroes week in and week out. Because it's not just on the rugby field where you learn to be a rugby player. It's by speaking about it, it's about playing games during break at school, and it's about watching professional players do their job week in and week out. How do we go about fixing this? Okay, I understand that broadcast rights and the money made thereof is extremely valuable to SA Rugby. It helps bring in a lot of money to develop the game in South Africa. But South African rugby, as well as the government, harp on transformation, which I fully agree on. Transformation needs to happen. We need to get more black young rugby players playing the game. It's as simple as that. I understand that. But they are selling themselves short if they think they can just put it into a school and the rest will do it, or going to a previously disadvantaged club and investing in rugby. A lot of these young players don't even know, or potential young rugby players don't even know what rugby is, let alone the likes of Malcolm Marx, Jesse Creel, Ebenet Smith and Jan Safontaine. Where do we start forging this dream? It's quite simple. By allowing these guys to watch rugby on TV. Supersport not only shows the Springboks, but also Currie Cup, Supersport Rugby Challenge, Super Rugby, French Top 14, English Aviva Premiership, Guinness Pro 14, New Zealand's Mitre 10. There are so much rugby on at the moment that you are spoiled for choice. It's no wonder nobody wants to go to stadiums anymore, because you can watch everything at home. My suggestion to fix this problem is quite simple. There's no point in speaking about a problem if you don't have a solution. So here's my solution. That SA Rugby and Supersport allow SABC, let's say SABC 2, to show all Springbok matches, which is only 8 or 10 of them a year, as well as select professional games from other competitions, like Super Rugby or Currie Cup, or even Supersport Rugby Challenge. Now, let's take Supersport Rugby Challenge just on a side note quickly. Fantastic initiative. Taking rugby to previously disadvantaged communities, fantastic. But only so many people can go to the stadium. If there's a 2,000-seater limit at a stadium in a Kasi somewhere in South Africa, only 2,000 people get to experience that. So we need to be able to tap into the unlimited resources we have at our disposal by showing it on free television. Because unfortunately, Supersport 201, where they show rugby, is only available on the premium package at R1,000 plus minus a month. R1,000. Some of these previously disadvantaged players' families can't even afford to buy bread and milk. How are they going to afford R1,000 just for TV? They can't. So why don't we put it on compact? a few people can afford compact. Actually, a lot of people can afford compact. It's not as expensive. But 201 isn't on compact, only the soccer channels are. But for me, the best way to get this done is to show it on SABC2. Now, how do we cater for the fact that SuperSport has paid so much money for the rights? Simple. Delayed live. Not 5 hours after the game, like it's sometimes done, but let's say the game kicks off at 5, which means halftime will be about 5:45, 10 to 6. SuperSport shows it first because the diehard rugby fans are going to want to watch it live. The diehard fans can watch it live on SuperSport. They'll pay the money, they'll pay their dues, SuperSport will lose no money. Then on SABC2, the match starts at 0 minutes at halftime of the live game. So that way, people who are watching on SABC2 are only 40 minutes behind instead of 3 or 4 hours, where now with social media, there's no point in watching something so many hours after because it's already happened. People go read the match reports and move on with their lives. Those are my 2 cents on the subject. Please share, discuss, and let's create a platform for inclusive rugby in South Africa. This is Offside with Dan Lombard. Thanks for listening.